So it looks like it's official now. The Yankees, according to a report, have officially reached out to the Miami Marlins regarding right-handed Sandy Alcantara. And again, if you're a Yankee fan, get ready because a lot of news is going to be coming our way over the next several weeks and maybe months as well. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe right now and turn on your notifications too, please. That way you don't miss anything. I will make sure you get everything that you need to get, especially if you're a Yankee fan. And I thank you for it. But let me attach this article right up here. Okay. I'm going to post it on the screen. I'm also going to attach this article down below so you can read for yourself after this video is over. Okay. The Yankees reach out to Marlins regarding potential Alcantara deal. Now, this is as of yesterday, Sunday, May 4th. So this is not something from a month ago, weeks ago, and so on and so forth. Not the hype and the propaganda and other stuff and the narratives and blah, blah, blah being fed on social media. This is right from the Sporting News, okay? And right from, you can see here, Pinstripes Nation, okay? This is a report. Yankees have reached out to the Marlins asking about the availability of their ace Sandy Alcantara for a possible trade deal. The New York Yankees have checked in with the Marlins about a potential availability of right-handed pitcher Sandy Alcantara, a source within the franchise told Pinstripes Nation. They have entrusted a senior advisor to the GM and senior VP handling Tampa and Dominican operations with the task of communicating with the Marlins. So we have some specific details regarding this conversation here, which is a key. However, this was already under consideration when the Yankees were forced to drop starting pitcher Clark Schmidt from the lineup against the Rays with a scan. This is the other day. Experienced some left soreness on his non-pitching side. So the Yankees are apparently already considering this, as we know already too. But now they've officially reached out to the Marlins. As the 2025 MLB season begins to heat up, the Yankees in the AL East are aware that their rotation remains a question mark, especially with injuries and inconsistency beyond their two top arms. With October in sight and the American League seemingly up for grabs, the New York is eyeing upgrades, with Alcantara has emerged as a high-risk, high-reward target. Multiple analysts have already pointed at the Yankees as the front-runner to trade for Alcantara, according to Bleacher Report's Tim Kelly, who linked the two clubs in trade speculation on Thursday. The context signals a potentially major move on the horizon as the Yankees weigh options to bolster the injury-plagued rotation ahead of the trade deadline. Okay. We don't know what the implications are going to be yet because it hasn't happened. We already know there's a lot of speculation. But back to the article. Kelly writes, Sandy Alcantara has an 8.31 ERA in his first 6 starts in 2025 after missing the entirety of last season recovering from Tommy John surgery. While that stat line raises red flags, which it does, Alcantara remains under contract through 2026 with a $21 million club option for 2027. So potentially 2 more years for Alcantara if they trade for him, making him an attractive long-term piece for contenders if he regains form. That's the key word. If. He obviously needs to get back on track to be the top name available this summer, especially since he's under contract through 26 with an affordable 21 option for 27, Kelly noted. But while the Marlins don't have to trade Alcantara if he's pitching well, the guess here is that the president of baseball operations, Peter Bendix, will move the former NL Cy Young Award winner for a slew of prospects. Now, the Yankees are desperate to boost rotation. Question is, what's it going to cost, right? And that's, I think, a lot of our fans, a lot of us are thinking as fans, what's this going to cost the Yankees? Bombers have defined early season adversity, have defied it. Injuries decimated the rotation this spring. Garrett Cole, East Hill, Mark Schmidt all began the year on the list. So far, only Schmidt has returned to action, but his problems recurred on Saturday. While Max Fried has emerged as the ace, boasting a dominant 1.01 ERA, and Carlos Rodon has delivered solid yet unreliable performances, the rest of the rotation lacks stability. Yankees currently hold the 11th best ERA in baseball, a respectable mark, but potentially not enough to weather the postseason storm, especially against high-octane National League teams like the Dodgers and the Braves. I mean, I don't know why you're not mentioning the Padres or the Phillies, but that's just me. The reality is that has made the front office proactive about scouting the trade market. Again, elite ceiling, risky floor. Okay. The question is, and again, I'm going to put this down below, but I'm not seeing any details in terms of what it would. Oh, here we go. High price tag, thin farm system. The farm system is not as thin as people think. The major challenge for the Yankees is the price tag. USA Today's Bob Nightingale, speaking of Dodger Nation podcast, suggested that the Yankees Marlins would move only Alcantara in late July once he shows improved performance, and obviously with price tag would go up if they do that. And if he does, Nightingale believes the return will be massive. As much as the Padres give up for Juan Soto, it may cost them more than that. Nightingale said, "I think you'll have the Yankees doing everything possible." Okay. Now, the Yankees farm system is currently ranked among the bottom third in baseball, with a few elite prospects outside Spencer Jones, Chase Hampton, George Lombard Jr., and Roderick. To outbid more content the Chicago Cubs, Padres, or Mets, the Yankees will likely have to surrender their top tier young talent, possibly including Jason Dominguez, and why the Yankees might still push hard. So I'm going to attach this down below for you. Okay. That just gives you some insight into what the price tag might be, right? So again, what happens? What's it going to cost? We don't know. Okay. And what would you be willing to spend if you were the Yankees? Cubs have a slew of prospects. The Padres have a slew of prospects, but the Padres farm isn't as top notch as it once was. Cubs are they're at the very top, okay, as are the Boston Red Sox and so on. So, but Alcantara's performance is going to have to markedly improve in order for them to consider handing somebody like Jason Dominguez over. But two things remain, at least for me. I would be more willing to trade Dominguez if you're sending him to the National League. That way, if he does regain form and does find himself, he's not punishing us on a regular basis, right? We do have Everson Pereira. We do have Spencer Jones. We also have Brian De La Cruz. We have options beyond Jason Dominguez in the outfield, okay? And I've even mentioned sending him down for very specific reasons recently. So he could work on his right-handed hitting and he could work on his defense. Two very specific areas he could work on in AAA. And he could just work on that regularly in AAA too, much as it's drawing heat from a lot of Yankee fans. I get it. That's fine. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, Everson Pereira is red hot. Okay. Right now. And Spencer Jones is also leading the league in AA and home runs. So, and the guy has Brett Gardner speed with Aaron Judge power, even Jaron Carl Stanton power. That is a rare package. And Everson Pereira is hitting the ball like out of the moon right now, which is another. And he also hits righty. Spencer Jones hits lefty. So we have options here beyond Jason Dominguez. I understand, too, Dominguez was a very hyped prospect, and he's very well talented and highly touted. And it would not be a popular move if they moved Jason Dominguez for somebody like Alcantara. But I would rather give him than Spencer Jones. I'd rather give him up than George Lombard Jr. Okay? Maybe a Dominguez and Roderick Harris. So maybe you can get an Alcantara without giving up Dominguez. I mean, I find it unlikely, but maybe Roderick Arias and one of the pitchers and like a couple other pieces. You can even give a Oswald Peraza and Oswaldo Cabrera in that. Okay, because I don't think they're going to want Pablo Lopez. I don't think they're going to want TJ LeMahieu. So, but there is a way that the Yankees can get Sandy Alcantara. It's just going to hurt. But now we know that they've officially reached out to the Marlins. Okay, there's been speculation and proposals from a bunch of people, but we haven't heard anything from the Yankees themselves. Now we have. Okay, they've officially reached out to the Marlins. Now it's got some teeth. It's got some legs. So I wanted to get this information out to you. And again, I'm going to attach this article down below so you can read it on your own time. You let me know what your thoughts are. Okay, now the Yankees are up against the Padres for a 3-game series. This is not going to be a picnic. Then they got the A's, they got the Mariners, and they got the Mets. May is not going to be a picnic for the Yankees. So we need them to get healthy. We need reinforcements to come back. We need Clark Schmidt to kind of get better. We need Luis Hill to come back at some point. Johnny Loizaga, Jake Cousins, and so on. And I've said this recently too. I would hate to be Aaron Boone and have to make the decision on who to send down in place for some of these guys. But I would love to be a fly in the wall to listen in, right? And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. But Sandy Alcantara could be, and again with controllable years, and that's the key, controllable years, at least 2 beyond this year, potentially. Maybe it makes a heck of a lot more sense than trading for Dylan Cease. Now, Dylan Cease and Michael King are going to be free agents at the end of this year. We're going to see both of them in the next series, next couple days. Michael King tomorrow, Dylan Cease on Wednesday. So we're going to see Nick Pivetta tonight. against the Padres, who are also having a beat up lineup. Jackson Merrill's coming off the IL as one of their superstar outfielders. Fernando Tatis has been beat up. Jake Cronenworth's been hurt. Luis Arias is hurt. So if there's any chance for us to win the series against the Padres, it's probably now. So hopefully the Yankees will capitalize on this. But we need the Yankees to be productive. We need them to be consistent. We need them to be focused, right? And not trying to hit home runs more often than not, trying to be contact. We need Anthony Volpe to be back healthy, right? We need our own reinforcements, just like the Padres need theirs. But the question of the day is, what would you be willing to give up, honestly, for Sandy Alcantara, based on the years of control that he has and based on the performance that he's given them right now? Because he's not performing like an ace right now. But, which is one reason why they probably wouldn't move him until July, because they can get more for him if he performs better later on. But that's the question. Is Sandy Alcantara the guy you want to bring, or would you want to wait until free agency for a Michael King or someone else, or a Zach Gallen, or even a Dylan Cease? All three of those guys are going to be free agents at the end of the year, and they're going to cost nothing but cash, right? And maybe a prospect because of qualifying offers if they get them. But can we wait until then, right? Or should trading for a guy like Alcantara happen? Because I don't think the Padres are going to move King, and I don't think they're going to move Cease. Why? Because unlike the Marlins, the Padres are contending. The Marlins are not. You're not going to move your top pitching if you're contending for a division title. So that's my take on that. You give me your take, gang. Be back later on with the lineup. Let's go Yankees.